dangerous. Pilot's going to be opting for the Zol here. And Zol's just like such an interesting pick because that is a character that innately relies on his intimidation factor. KiXe though, just the best possible punish. Oh my goodness. Pilot already just going to be stuck off stage. KiXe already just, what an opening.
Yeah, and they're playing a character that we haven't seen a whole lot of, which is Dusk, and that orb from KiXe has been fantastic. We're seeing them launch Pilot into the orangey red, now into the red of their first stock there, and KiXe has been really just controlling everything, not giving Pilot a chance to regroup.
Yeah, Pilot already kind of seems uncomfortable and neutral against KiXe. Pilot landed a couple of hits and then it just ended up like backing up and resetting a few times. And where KiXe is already establishing himself so well is just he is not letting go of his advantage state. He's always covering something else. He's always continuing to push in. And now Pilot just stuck in the corner looking for any way to get back on. KiXe just keeps on spot dodging all of Pilot's landing options.
Yeah, and Pilot's trying to regroup here with that cannon. I mean, I think the cannon's going to be the main option they're going to be using. They have a gold forged cannon, so I definitely think they're going to be relying a lot on that. They're trying to weapon starve KiXe a little bit. They do go weapon starve him again. KiXe now with no weapon. Pilot has an opportunity, but doesn't really take a whole big advantage of it. And now you're having KiXe on that orb again, and Pilot has to go back to the axe. KiXe with the signature again. He's been throwing those signatures out like crazy because they don't have a whole lot of recovery frames compared to most signatures. And look at KiXe go, even with unarmed right now.
Yeah, KiXe right now just backing up. This is what we know KiXe for, and that's going to be the end sig coming out there. Amazing scoop up, and already 3 stocks to 1. KiXe is kind of running all over Pilot at the moment. Picking up the axe finally. How do you actually close here? KiXe mixing it up with the weapon toss. The side of him across the stage is not enough to be able to take it out. Comes back on neutral once again. The recovery doesn't connect. Pilot somehow still not able to find this KO. Misses the end light, missing it again, and KiXe finding the punish. Just keeps on with punishing Pilot over and over again.
Yeah, and now we have KiXe with a 2-stock lead over Pilot, and Pilot's just trying to figure out some type of option against KiXe's like aggressiveness that works out the nod movement into a neutral light, baiting KiXe into that range for them to be able to land that. And I think Pilot's got to take this, you know, like side approach here where he can't be too aggressive. He kind of has to bait KiXe into these different attacks and really read on those dodge opportunities KiXe will offer them. And it's working out so far because KiXe is already in the orange of that second stock. And I mean,
weapon toss to get back in there, just keeps on going through all these different end sigs. The last few of them didn't actually end up connecting, but the side sig is finally going to be able to come out, and KiXe cleaning up this game. It felt like Pilot did not have any threat or any pressure against KiXe. KiXe was comfortable through the entirety of that game. He was just playing on the ground, consistently spot dodging any of Pilot's landing options, and comparatively between the two of them, KiXe just seems so much more keen to follow through in advantage, right? KiXe would connect the neutralite, and then he would go in there and just get the next option, right? He would connect something like a neutralite, and then he's consistently following up onto Pilot. Whereas with Pilot, it felt like he was only at most able to get a 2-piece combo.
Being that aggressive, they're going to have as much hit points as they possibly can going against them. But now it's like figuring out how to counter this style. I think Pilot's just having a rough time.
KiXe already opening off instead of like, you know, the classic sidelight D-light with Spoo, just pressing sidelight and sig. That's how you know that KiXe is just kind of hanging out the moment. You get the sidelight, Pilot now has to find a way to be able to land here, and KiXe, I mean, he is actually just checking Pilot with these sidelights over and over again, which is, do you know how to land, or am I going to catch you landing after I hit you with a sidelight 5 times?
Yeah, and we're kind of seeing Pilot use these neutral light and these weapon throws a lot too. The weapon throws are so risky, but just like now, but he's able to go ahead and get a weapon throw into different things onto KiXe, and it's working, but KiXe's been rebelling really well right after. Oh, but KiXe throws the weapon, realizing Pilot did it, now doesn't have a weapon, goes back to spear. I see a signature coming out.
That's a sidelight, okay, and Pilot is now consistently jumping and dodging up out of all those sidelights. KiXe dash jumping, tries to go for the pogo. The side does connect, and going under, that is so good, because at that point, Axe isn't pressing down, and Axe isn't pressing ground pound. You actually have nothing to worry about being under Axe at that position with how few resources Pilot has left to come back onto the stage with.
Yeah, and as we say that, the Pilot does go ahead and get that knockout on KiXe with that cannon, and I think Pilot, you know, is going to be like, hey, you know, I think that Axe has been working very well for me. I'm going to stick with that. But he just has to be careful of the ranges of where he's attacking and the range that KiXe has to do different options too. And it's very hard to think of where they're going to land with this fast of gameplay. And they're having a rough time trying to slow them down. They are doing a little bit now, but now they're landing stuff. But is it going to be enough?
Pilot has been consistently going for like ground pounds out of neutral areas, which is like a really good option sometimes. But KiXe has like punished every single one of those attempts. You have to really hold on to the ground pound if you want to catch somebody dodging down below you, because you don't immediately start falling with it. That being said, look at that finish from KiXe.
Yeah, KiXe kind of realized Pilot was going to aggress him and just held that signature. I mean, they knew that a second or 2 seconds before Pilot even threw that out. So if you're Pilot, you got to be like, okay, I gotta be careful with how I'm aggressing. You know, like they missed that. KiXe knew that was going to happen. Gets the 3-piece as well. Oh, misses that signature, but Pilot now has the jump ground pound, lands that.
Okay, waiting. Hopefully GCD light. Oh no, but that's the downer, the dive kick. It doesn't actually end up connecting. KiXe picking up the orb, but once more, the neutral light doesn't end up coming out, and that's just gonna be the stalker right off the top. Pilot finally able to clean it up. You have a considerable amount of damage now to clean up as well. Pilot, how do you get something going here? Such a good jump away from the weapon toss, backing off, trying to control the ground a little bit. Pilot not committing until you press cider, one of the laggiest options that you could press.
Yeah, KiXe comes in with that orb cider knockout, and KiXe takes that game to the name. It just came down to how they were pressuring, how they were working with that. And I mean, KiXe was just kind of flailing Pilot around a little bit and just reading him very, very well with their options, knowing where they're going to go. Pilot was dodging at random points when he didn't really need to. And KiXe's like, you know what? Let me go ahead and read these options. They knew Pilot was going to jump, use the options, use that signature as well. I mean, it was just a fantastic game from KiXe. And I mean, Pilot was rebuttaling, but wasn't rebuttaling just enough to be able to make it into their favor. Yeah, but with that being said, we're going into game number 1. I want to see how Pilot does with that Magyar as well. I mean, the Greatsword is probably going to be one of the main options he's going to be using, but also as well that hammer has to stomp into side air, you know, so that's a big option Pilot can take. Pilot is using that Greatsword range to their advantage very, very well. KiXe is starting to play a little bit more floaty than anything, but as I say that, they can silent neutral air and get a falling side air and picking up that spear. So I don't
those
know,
weapon
it's very
tosses.
Yeah, a lot of weapon tosses from Pilot, and they're landing too.
Okay, KiXe playing back a little bit, tossing out that weapon, finally picking up that orb once again, just holding onto the ground here, presses the D-light, it doesn't actually end up connecting. Ooh, you whiff that stomp in neutral, and you will be punished for it. KiXe looking for the neutral light again, doesn't find it, dashing out there, able to avoid the stomp. Pilot, what was that side? Because I guess KiXe might have dashed back there just in case, but I'm not crazy about landing like that.
Yeah, but I mean, these guys are trying their best here. They're trying to figure out what method works against each other. You got Pilot trying to approach KiXe a certain way with the Greatsword, and it worked a little bit, but then KiXe found that opening, right? So if you're Pilot, you get that 3-piece combo. You go in for a knockout, maybe a recovery, maybe a signature option, like we saw from Skeldra not too long ago. But now they're throwing their weapons so much, KiXe realizes that. And Pilot tries going on arm, but he can't be that comfortable just yet until he has the lead.
Yeah, side sig is not the thing you're looking for, though. You're looking for like end-sig, like a recovery. I think a recovery would have been able to do it off the top, but finally, okay, that didn't KO, but the weapon toss sure did. What a way to take out that stock. KiXe now knocked down to his second stock here. What's it gonna be? Just gets up inside of Pilot's face at the moment, backing up a little bit. Just gonna be nice and patient, actually getting that weapon. Orb on hand. Oh, again, Pilot, such good whip punishes.
Yeah, he's been doing very well with the punishes, but he's also just been throwing his weapon out way too much. And we're seeing KiXe really maximize on it just like right now, involving that neutral signature, man. And it comes down to Pilot really having to, you know, stop throwing them out so much. They're catching KiXe off guard, which is amazing, but it's not catching him off guard enough where you need to throw your weapon away.
Oh, such a good side just to be able to put Pilot off stage and put Pilot into the corner. Pilot keeps on immediately jumping after getting knocked off stage. I want to see KiXe take advantage of that. What can you do to call out a jump fit? I want to see something aggressive as like, you know, a jump NSYNC, something like that. Something that lets Pilot know you can never get away with doing that again and again. This is something that can become an exploitable habit. You jump immediately, KiXe misspacing that sider, but that was the right idea. That's how you punish somebody jumping over the stage, coming back on each time.
Did it again, and KiXe punishes him for throwing that weapon away, and KiXe gets the 3-piece combo into recovery to go ahead and beat Pilot 3-0 to advance further into this bracket here. And it came down to Pilot was just trying to throw these weapons, trying to catch KiXe off guard, wasn't really able to do that, and overall